Hey guys, welcome back to the classroom. Today is Thursday, March 26th, and the time right now is 11:13 a.m. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on the clock. Our hour hand is on the 11, and our minute hand is actually in between some numbers over here. So we use these little dots in the middle right here for we go by fives on the big numbers, but in between, those are minutes also. So if the 2 is our 10 mark, we count the dots down 11, 12, 13. This is 11, 13. The next dot would be 11, 14, and then we know our 3 would be 11, 15. So this is what 11, 13 looks like. And I'm going to talk about our interesting fact for today. So the state of Maine is the only state whose name only has one syllable. So if you try, especially people in my class know, we count syllables with our hand up under our chin. We say the word. So if I say Maine, my chin hits one time, it's one syllable. Every other state has more than one syllable. So I challenge you to test out the different names of the states to see which state has the most syllables. I know that North Carolina, I was just practicing that one. North has one, North, but then Carolina has a lot more. So see if you can find which state has the most syllables. But Maine is the only state with one syllable. And I actually decided to write the state name Maine down for you to see, because instead of math today, we're going to talk about some word pattern things. So the word Maine, this is what the state name of Maine looks like. It has a vowel team right here. And we know that a vowel team are two vowels that work together. And we know that that second vowel is always going to make the first vowel say its name. So that I is making the A say A. We don't hear the I. So we know that sneaky E is a rule, but we also have to remember that we don't always have to have a sneaky E to make a long vowel sound. So our vowel team over here is actually doing that work for us. So this is how you say Maine. We don't hear the E, and that I is making the A say its name, Maine. I have some other words here to look at for vowel teams. And so our first word right here is preach. Our vowel team is the EA, and you see that that A is making the E say its name. But we also have, right here in the green, we have a blend. And remember, our blend symbol is like this. When we have a blend, we have two letters that make their own sound. They're working together, but I can still hear the P sound. I can still hear the R sound, but the sound kind of goes together. So we do call that a blend. And then our vowel team is the EA. This word is preach. If I look at my second word, I have the vowel team of OA. That A is going to make the O say its name, so we don't even hear that A in there, but that word is boat. And another really unique vowel team is in our third word is when we have those double letters. So that EE, that second E is still making that first E say a long E sound. That's why this is need and not Ned. If it was Ned, we would take out one E and we would have a CVC. So we know that in CVC, that's a short vowel. So right now we're looking at those double E's, which is our vowel team. So this is just a reminder of some of our vowel teams when you're reading. So when you're reading today, hopefully and every day, you can be looking for these vowel teams. And for our word of the day, we are going to focus on the word community. When I turn it over on the back, I have 3 different types of communities, and we actually already learned about these. So my first type of community is a rural community, and that is lots of farmland. We have to drive to get places. Things are very spread out, which we talked about. Our school is actually in a rural community. It's very spread out. We can get to towns, but we're going to have to drive there, probably not going to be walking. Our next one is called the urban community, and we think of that as big cities where people walk to work or walk to school, they ride taxis or they ride the buses. And our last one is a suburban community, which we said a lot of us actually live in. We may go to school in a rural area, but a lot of us live in a suburban community, which makes me think of neighborhoods. The store is only a few minutes away. You're still going to drive there. You're still going to ride a bus to school probably. But these are our 3 different types of communities. And those words again are rural, urban, and suburb, which is also suburban. And those are all the different types of this big word called community. And we know community is where we live. So I do not have a special guest today. Today instead we're going to do a focus on some science. So I was thinking about different animals, and maybe an animal we don't talk a lot about sometimes are beavers. I actually have a really cool diorama here that I'm going to get up and move closer so you can see. This is actually a beaver lodge. So on the outside of the beaver lodge, this is what it would look like. It would look like a lot of sticks put together, some mud. You wouldn't really be able to see, but this is where the beavers actually live. So beavers are mammals that live in rivers and ponds, streams, types of things, and they build dams to control the water flow. But they actually themselves build a lodge out of some of that wood and mud, which is where they live. So on my diorama here, you can see the outside. And when I turn it around, and I'll bring it closer in just a second, you can actually see the inside of what that would look like. And when I take the back off, it actually has another, and you can kind of see there's little burrows and holes where they can swim around. The dirt has been kind of dug out, looks kind of hilly in here. And I think this is just for fun. There's a sleeping bag right there because it's just telling us that the beavers sleep in the lodges, but we know they don't really sleep in sleeping bags. And on this other side, I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see. And it's actually full of water too. But you can see, and there's a beaver right here on the side. And actually, that's Miss Frizzle down there. She's sideways. She's kind of swimming on her side right there. But you can see there's some greenery down here, probably things that they eat. It's all dug out. There's little paths where they swim. So it's a very complex area that they live in called the lodge. And we have been talking about a lot of nonfiction topics in school before we got out. And so there are lots of expert words that we can learn for beavers, and one of them is the lodge. So now you can say that you know that a beaver lives in a lodge. And I have a book here that I've been looking at today also. And since I can't share that book with you right now, I am going to go into my Google Classroom and I'm going to link a page on DK Find Out on beavers. And you can actually virtually look and explore the parts of the lodge and what they're all called. So I'm going to link that for you. If you're not on my Google Classroom, you can go to the website called DK Find Out, and you can actually type at the top beavers, and the page will come up where you can read about beavers. You can see a map of a lodge and all those expert words. So that's my challenge for you today, is to go and find those expert words that go with lodge and go with beavers and see what you can find out about beavers. So that's actually going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.